Well, hello, welcome back to Adrian's Digital Basement 2. It's a super mini mail call episode and we'll get right into it. You may recognize this just here for the king cake. This comes from Seth in Florida. Hi to all my Florida viewers. Seth has sent in a bunch of stuff, and in fact, I have a bunch of packages from him, which I haven't opened yet. And this one came in more recently, so I'm gonna open this one now, thinking that it might be related to the holiday season. It is currently the 21st of December, so it is before Christmas. So if this is somehow Christmas related, boy, my knife was failing me there. Let's try that one more time, because this is pretty pathetic. There we go. If this is Christmas related, it means we'll open it before the holidays are over. Let's go to the letter. Well, Seth writes, greetings to Adrian and your wonderful basement. Happy holidays to you and your friends and family. After year Model 2s, NEC, all-in-ones, heavy 1970s terminals, and lots of other heavy stuff, I figure your shoulder could use a rest. With this in mind, please find the tiny contributions to add to the tiny Apple II setup I sent you recently. Ultimately, I hope to give you a full Adrian's Digital bedroom collection to make the tiny replica of your bedroom growing up. This time with some cool stuff that you didn't have last time. Please enjoy these tiny items. I hope you have a wonderful holiday and enjoyed the holiday king cake. Yes, I am patting my stomach right now because I'm sure I have gained several pounds from eating the wonderful king cake. In fact, I did cut it up and I froze a bunch of it, but that king cake was so delicious, and I figured out, and I'm sure people have mentioned this, warming it up in the microwave a little bit just brings it back to a gooey, sticky, delicious thing. And yeah, it's so good. So yeah, Seth did send me a king cake, I don't know, a week or two ago, and I've been slowly chipping away at it. Thank you as always for all that you do and your wonderful content, and have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you very much, Seth. There's a little tiny Apple II Plus with a little monochrome CRT, and we have 2 Apple II disk drives as well that go with it. So it's completely adorable, and I have this sitting up in my office. All right, so this is a little invoice here. It says it's a tiny arcade, a little DIY kit. Let's see what this is all about. Oh, well, oh, I see. So it's got acrylic. Looks like a tiny little playable thing. Okay, that is pretty awesome. Let's, before we get to taking apart this any further, oh, a little screen there, acrylic pieces, labels, stuff like that. Let's see what this one is. So definitely when I was a kid, I never had any kind of arcade cabinets or anything. A little tiny circuits television, DIY tiny TV. So I'm assuming it's similar to that, where, let's see here. I shouldn't mix these up. The DIY TV kit with a little tiny remote control. Oh, how to get started, okay. And on the arcade cabinet, there's the artwork for it. That's freaking awesome. In fact, it's funny in the picture here, they don't have the artwork attached, but they include it. And let's see what this is here. So there it is. Looks like it's playing Tetris, a little miniature version. And there are the build instructions. Okay, so I'm gonna put the TV back in the box here. Comes with a little lithium battery there too. It's interesting. So I'm gonna put these together well, I'm gonna put them back in the box so I can build them one at a time and not mix things up. Alrighty, there they are. They're both built. I messed up a little bit on the arcade cabinet. Basically, this sticker should have gone right here. But unfortunately, like on the box and stuff, or in the manual, I didn't go online, but in the manual, there's no where it says how to stick everything. It just says, go ahead and stick the stickers on. Now is a good time. And that's it. On the box, no pictures as well. So that's kind of lame. Anyways, it's not the end of the world. And they're paper stickers, so if I try to peel them off, it'll just rip. Yeah, that one should have gone here, and that one should have gone there. Also, this one's a little bit crooked, but when you're not looking super close, it doesn't really matter. But there it is. Appears that there's 3 games on here. I think you have to turn it off and on to reset it there. So, Tiny Shooter, Flappy Birds, and there's a Tetris. And there's an SD card in here, so you can definitely, oh, there is sound as well. You can definitely replace the games, I guess, if there are more available. So yeah, it's kind of cool. And then the little TV set, it's a little bit easier to put together because it's 3D printed. The screen's pretty dim. I mean, I can see it better than the camera shows. It does have a little remote control here with mute, power, and a volume up-down button, and it's infrared. So let's see, you can change the channel. I don't even know if the sound is coming through. I don't think so. I can hear it though. It's very tinny, understandably. Looks like some NASA footage. Have no idea if this is, I'm gonna mute that. No, that didn't mute it, that just turned the volume down. All right, some Japanese content there. Yeah, so also has an SD card that you go in the bottom there. So you can actually change it, I guess. There's a little video converter and USB charging port. These both have lithium-ion batteries. This one doesn't have a back, and that is by design. This has a micro USB for charging as well. And yeah, there we go. So if you're into little miniature things that you have to build, these are something you can build. It's funny, I have to say, when I was a kid, I tried building models, as in like the plastic ones that you have to glue together and paint and everything. I know that was a thing that people were into. I gotta admit, I tried a couple times and it really was not something that I was interested in doing. I found the work extremely fiddly, and I know that a lot of people who built those found that very rewarding because it was very fine work. And once you had it all together and you painted it and it just looked amazing. I mean, I was always impressed with how it looked when it was done. But putting together very fine things that are fiddly and require, like, I mean, even this thing here, like, it's not totally together on the top, probably needs a little shaving on the little notches or whatever. That kind of work, yeah, it's really not for me. So there they are with the little miniature Apple II Plus. Let's zoom in the camera a little bit. Wow, the zoom is really slow. I need to go in there and change that setting. Zoom that, move this down. There they are. Obviously this TV needs some painting. If we look at the box here, looks like it's been painted. I don't know if that's like an optional one or they expect you to do the painting yourself, but it's 3D printed. So if I was into model painting, I could paint this and then it would look a bit more realistic. But like I just said, that is something that really doesn't interest me. I hate painting things. Painting a room is about the extent of what I want to paint. Anytime I try to paint something retro, I get frustrated and yeah, much better at working on electronics than physical things. So anyhow, cool. Seth, thanks very much for sending those over. I'm going to stick them back upstairs where the Apple II was and a few other 3D printed things. And on to the next thing. Alrighty, we have another package here from Seth. Since I said there were several of them built up, let's open another one. And it's not too big, so it fits on the bench. Opening it upside down because, you know, it's kind of what I do. And got some packing materials. And it looks like a Commodore 64. I can feel that it feels like a bread bin in there. And in the bottom of the box, ooh, all right. We have some baking materials, banana bread nut mix and banana muffin mix and blueberry muffin mix. All right, and a letter. Okay, the letter here, oh boy, there says it's box number 1. I don't think I realized that there was a sequence here to the boxes. This is an unusual C64 in that it is 1 white, 2 PAL, and has some type of Jiffy DOS mod built in and is switchable. I grew up with Apple IIs and a Mac 512K with internal hard drive. Thank you for that video. Yes, I have a Mac 512K with I think it's called a hyperdrive, and it's like this board that plugs in to the motherboard on top of the CPU, and then it gives, well, the ability to boot, or I think it boots, yeah, boots from an MFM hard drive. Basically, with those original classic Macs, the word is that Steve Jobs was like, there's no way you could have an internal hard drive on one of those. And I think, is it GCC, the name of the company, or General Computing, I think it was? They were like, oh, hold my beer. And then they made basically this crazy add-on that has an internal hard drive mounted in there. So obviously Seth had that as well. But he says he knows very little about these special C64s, but I hope you can fill us in a future episode. Thank you and enjoy. All right, well, let's see here. Let's just quickly look again at this banana bread mix. Mrs. Jones, right, okay. Looks like you need bananas. It says optional. That's funny. You definitely want to put those in. Egg, milk, and butter. Okay, easy enough to make that. And Lacanto, sugar-free. Oh, that's cool. Is this one sugar-free? No, this one has sugar, I'm sure, in it, right? It's hard to tell if this one has sugar. It's whole grain, though. This one, on the other hand, is sugar-free. It says sweetened with monk fruit. So that's pretty cool. It still has carbohydrates in it. Total sugar 0. Okay, so sugar alcohols, which are, oh, I forgot what sugar alcohols are, but it doesn't metabolize, so that's perfect for diabetics. And then we have the same brand, sugar-free blueberry muffin mix. All right, cool. Well, this is not a baking channel, and I'm a terrible baker, but to be honest, stuff like this that's pre-made, it's probably something I can bake. So it's not gonna be for a video, and maybe I'll make something for my patrons to talk about this. We'll take that over there for now. I think everyone wants to see what is up with this 64. A special 64 that is PAL and white. And I get the feeling, looking at the size of this, is a bread bin. So that makes me think that this is gonna be an Aldi C64, as in the supermarket chain, which is here in the US, just not on the West Coast. They're only on the East Coast. It's a German company, as far as I'm aware. And I know back in the day, they worked with Commodore to make a special C64 that had the keyboard from the 64C. The case coloring, at least, is from the VIC-20. And I think there's nothing too different about it other than that. Now, of course, here in the US is not something that we would normally have, right? They never sold anything like this here. So if this is in the US, this would have been imported. Let's move this packing material. All right, what's all this? Look at this, a cap kit. Comes from the Commodore Retro Store. And indeed, this is gotta be an Aldi C64. How cool is that? I don't actually have one of these. I think the biggest difference from just like a VIC-20 case and, you know, mixing it with a 64C, this one's got a little bit of, I wonder if someone tried to retrobrite it or something, because there's some splotches on the case here. This is the unusual thing. It's the badge. So it's the C64 badge, and it doesn't even have any texture on it. That's interesting. It's just smooth, but it's like a light coloring versus the normal dark coloring one. And on the bottom, there it is, C64G. I think that's the giveaway for the Aldi version. Made in West Germany, and oh, how funny. So this must have been, I guess, worked on or something. It's got the Commodore Retro Store warranty sticker on it. We're gonna have to open that up. We're gonna have to break that warranty sticker, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna say this has gotta have been a retrobrited, attempted to. Got these pretty big splotches on it. I haven't seen that myself. From a color perspective, I guess I thought it was the same as the VIC-20, but I'm gonna say that it's not. It's kind of just like a light beige color. I mean, looking at the bottom here, which obviously is much more like the original color than the top, which is yellowed. Yeah, beige. How cool is that? How freaking cool. It's the type of case that's like the slimmer version. It's not as tall, and it's got the actual writing on here. So even though this is a German machine, I know you're not gonna be able to see it, but it says memory expansion, RF, HL for the switch. So that's funny. Video, serial, cassette, user port. The writing on there, it's actually molded into the plastic. It's not something that's like unique to this particular 64. Oh, let me just get this cap kit off of here. Oh, original capacitors. So someone has actually recapped this already. I guess the store. Now this right here is my ZIF 64, right? The one I usually have on the channel. And you'll notice that the case is very light colored because yes, this is a normal VIC-20 case, which you can use for the 64, but you do have to modify it. Basically, I did Dremel away part of the case right here, and that's because the cartridge slot, if you stick cartridges in that don't have a case, it works. But if you do have a case, then obviously it's not going to work. So I had to Dremel this case away a little bit. Now, people would be like, oh, you ruined a perfectly good VIC-20. I mean, this was a VIC-20 that didn't have a motherboard, or this case, I mean, had no motherboard in it. So I just had the case, and I thought, you know what? I really like how the light color looks. But there's that dark badge I'm talking about. It's like a brown color. But it is raised, so the 64 and the Commodore logo, it's actually like metal and it's textured and it's sort of brushed and looks shiny and cool. Same on this power one over here. But on this one here, the Aldi one, it's just this like light gray and it's just smooth. And the power one, same thing. It's almost like a sticker. I think it's metal though. Yeah, it looks like it's metal. I really did think that the Aldi 64, the 64G, was just the normal VIC-20 case. But I'm gonna say that it's not the case. Pun intended. If anyone has any experience with that, like the coloring and whatnot, let me know. But yeah, looking at the bottom here, it's definitely a different shade. By the way, the keyboard on this 64, I don't know, it has a different font on it. It's like a Euro font, I think it's called. Has a really, really nice feel to it. I love this keyboard. And I realize because I use this computer quite a bit, this seems to be the 64 I don't know, I'm using the most if I'm playing games or whatever. Then I wanted to put a keyboard, which I thought felt amazing. Just take a look at that control, run, stop. Look at the font. It's sort of a thinner font, and the sculpting of the keys is a little different. It just feels really, really nice. This one, on the other hand, is just, yeah, this is a normal, like, cost-reduced 64C keyboard. Feels the same as every other, like, you know, as the majority of 64 keyboards, which is kind of like, meh, you know, it's okay. This one, on the other hand, feels really nice. Anyhow, why don't we crack this thing open? Because obviously they did some work on it, and which is unusual for, you know, me to get a 64 that's been previously repaired and I'm assuming fully functional. Let's just crack the seal on here. So I'll get the two normal screws out. Now it's interesting, Seth didn't say, but he must have bought this from a US company or something. I'm sorry, you guys, I can't believe you put a warranty sticker on here. That is just ridiculous. Maybe they were having problems with people like buying these machines and then saying, oh, the SID doesn't work or something like that. Alrighty, there we go. We're in like Flynn. So I think this is what I understood to be the case. It's got a shortboard in here. Let's get this off of here. This is weird. The power LED has this like stringy wire. So yeah, there it is. It's a shortboard. It's very clean. It's got the Jiffy DOS mod in here. And of course, I think this is the switchless type, which you hold down restore, I think, when you turn on the computer. I know I actually have some of these PCBs made that allow the switchless Jiffy DOS. The machine appears to have its original RAM. It's got the 2014 color RAM separate, so this is like an earlier shortboard. The later ones didn't have this chip here. This is actually integrated into those PLAs, a later version of the PLA. Looking at the date codes on the chips that are actually soldered on the board, I'm seeing 88, like early 1988. Oh no, wait, this one here, yeah, that's 6th week of 1988, 7th week of 1988. Yeah, it looks like early 1988 is when this shortboard was made. And then inside the machine, we can definitely see like the original sort of light beige color of the case. And that's neat. This is definitely my first time ever seeing what a 64G or an Aldi 64 looks like. Pretty cool, I gotta say. Let's move these screws out of the way. I mean, the computer's really clean on the inside, so that's nice. And I guess the only thing that it's slightly let down by are the splotches on the top cover. really wonder what the deal is with this. You know, I don't think this thing has been retrobrighted. I'm assuming that something maybe was spilled on the case. I don't know. I really don't know. Does this company that refurbished this, refurbishes in quotes, because all they did is change out some caps that surely didn't need to be changed out. These caps are almost certainly all perfect condition. Question is, do these guys actually do retrobrighting? Now what they didn't fix, let's take a look at these standoffs here. They're starting to come apart here from the case screws. These two here are cracked. Now Jeff Burt sells a kit to try to fix those. It's like a little acrylic ring that goes on top. So if you have a computer like a 64 you're trying to revive or keep going, you want to keep those little things good, you buy his kit. I'll put a link to his website in the description down below. All right, I booted up my computer and I think this is ready for testing. Power, what's going on here? Oh, there we go. I unplugged the power LED. I was like, why isn't that the LED working? That was weird grammar. There we go. We've got the red power LED. Okay, keyboard, maybe I should plug that in as well. Yes, I should. So the funny thing about the shortboards, by the way, is in a North American case, you can't just screw a shortboard in because there aren't standoffs. But I noticed in the European case, there's 2 sets of standoffs for the motherboards so that you can, or they can accept the shortboard, both the 64 shortboard and the VIC-20 shortboard directly in the case. But the US molds never got that, at least not any I've ever seen. So in the US, if you have a shortboard inside a breadband, like a VIC-20, which is the most common, there's this metal adapter plate that's underneath, it's like part of the RF shield really, underneath the motherboard that allows you to screw it into the normal standoffs. So this one, well, I mean, I don't know if they had thrown away the RF shields, but there's no evidence of any kind of RF shielding. Like there's nothing soldered onto the board, which is typical. So I suppose in 1988, it was just not necessary. I don't know. All right, so there we are. We are booted into Jiffy DOS 601 there. Let's see if I turn this off and I hold restore. We turn it on. I don't remember how the switchless thing works, so yep, there we go. Now we're in normal Commodore 64, no Jiffy DOS. All right, this is awesome. So in with the Easy Flash. Let's see if this is functional. I currently have this hooked up through composite. I gotta say the colors are pretty washed out, but is that normal? Maybe that's normal for the PAL machines. You know, I don't really remember. I swear that the PAL ones had more vibrant color than this, but it's all very, very muted, at least on my retro tank. Anyhow, Adrian's tools. Uh-oh. Oh, shift lock was down. That was the problem there. Adrian's tools. We could start with just a quick diag here. Make sure it passes these tests. I don't have the harness connected, so we won't know for sure. But I'm wagering this computer is fully functional. I mean, shortboards are already reliable. If the RAM is the only problem that can go bad, well, not the only problem, but seemingly the usual thing to go bad on them. But this one obviously has no RAM problems because it wouldn't even get to this point if it did. Alrighty, yeah, everything looks good. It's saying the kernel ROM is bad. That's because it's Jiffy DOS. I don't have the harness connected, so all the rest is not working, and then I don't have sound hooked up. We will do that in a second. Okay, so all looks fine there. Let me hook up the sound. Alrighty, sound is connected. 8-bit dance party, everyone. Turn up the volume. There it is. The normal, slower PAL version. This is as it should be. And yeah, I mean, it's gonna sound good. These SIDs are very reliable. Let's see. It's like a slow motion dance party. All right, that's awesome. So that does work. I have another cartridge. I'm just gonna do a couple other tests. Where is it? Oh, it's my Kung Fu Flash. I got some SID tunes on here to listen to. I really need a case for my Kung Fu Flash. I'm sure that one exists, but I just have the bare PCB floating around. All right, what is this telling me? Oh, this is normal. I do not have a second SID, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. This is booted right into my SID player. Let's change the colors a little bit, whatever. All right, so I have my SIDs separated into 2 different collections. Well, there's stereo, there's 6581s, and then there's 8581s. Well, this is an 8580 in here, so you have to make sure, well, I mean, you don't have to make sure, but if you But if you play a SID file and you're on, well, it's designed for like an 8580 and you're playing on the other type, it can sound a little weird. So let's see, Lunatico. All right, well, the furnace just came on, so it's perfect timing. I forgot to push the button there to stop it. Yeah, okay, this thing is sounding great. I mean, I think that this computer is fully functional. That's Kung Fu Flash's menu there. This machine's working well. And it's pretty cool, I gotta say. I'm trying to build, I got some wall mounts. Stuart printed them for me. They're for the 64 and it lets me wall mount them. And I want to wall mount a nice assortment of 64s. And the cool thing is they're not permanently mounted, so I can go grab them down very easily. So I'd like to have like one of each type. And to be honest, this is a cool, rare in the US 64 to have. So this will be perfect for going on the wall as an interesting 64 that people here in North America haven't generally seen. And because now I know that this is not just a VIC-20 color, this is actually kind of like this light beige with the different badges, it's a little harder to even replicate. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end this video here. Thanks Seth for sending in this awesome 64G, this Aldi machine, super rare. And of course it works, so I apologize for anyone who was expecting a repair video, since someone else already did unnecessary repairs. And then thanks Seth again also for the little arcade machine, a little mini TV. Those are gonna look good upstairs. And I guess that is gonna be that. So thanks everyone for the support. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for the patrons. Their names are up here, you know, all the usual stuff. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I guess that is that. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye.